Hi everybody, it's Viviana from La Bella Fe and welcome to my channel. Today I will be working on a wooden caddy and I would like you to hang out with me while I do that. So let's head on over to my workstation and get started. Okay, so last night I went ahead and I prepped my boards, and I got these boards at Dollar Tree, and they are 11 and a half by 6. I also went ahead and prepped my two cutting boards that I'll be using for my caddy. So I went ahead and painted them black, and the color that I used for that was FolkArt chalk paint in the color Rich Black. So now that that's all done and they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this piece of candle wax. It's a candle, but I'm using it as candle wax. And I'm going to go over all of my boards with this candle wax because I'm going to be doing a chippy finish on all of my wood. So I go ahead and apply this candle wax to all sides of my wood, not including the inside, only the outside. The whole outside of my wooden caddy will be having a chippy look. By the way, I did forget to mention that the cutting boards that I'll be using for the ends of my caddy box, I got those on Amazon, and I will be listing the link afterwards. Okay, now that everything's been prepped with the candle wax, I'm going to go ahead and start painting my boards. And for this, I'll be using FolkArt chalk paint in the color Farmhouse White. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to be generous with this paint because I want a really nice chippy look on my boards. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I am applying a healthy coat of this paint. I'm only applying one coat, and that's why I'm using a healthy amount. And I'll be applying this to all of my boards on the sides, the front, and I'll also be doing the same to my two cutting boards that I'm going to be using. Okay, everything is painted, and I'm going to go ahead now and completely dry all of my wood that I'll be using for this project. Okay, now that everything is completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and take my scraper and start scraping all of my boards to get a really healthy chippy look on my wooden caddy. Okay, so I am going over all sides of my board, and afterwards what I do is that I take my gator sander and I go ahead and start sanding the board down. This I'm going to go over the edges, and I'm going to be going over the sides and the front of my board, giving it just another little layer of a worn look. This also gets rid of any excess paint that I have on there from my scraping, and it just gets everything nice and smooth. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of my boards and my cutting boards. And I started to give this a dry brush look, but then I decided against it. So I go ahead and just paint my three big boards in just a solid farmhouse white color. I just like that look better than the dry brushing. So you'll see that I do start to just paint the whole thing completely instead of dry brushing it. I just wanted the inside of my caddy box to have a more solid color than the outside, a more finished look. And this wood is rough on this side, so a dry brushing just wasn't working out, and I just decided to go ahead and just paint the whole side of the three boards. Okay, so my three boards are painted, and now I'm going to give my cutting boards a quick dry so that I can go ahead and scrape this side of my cutting boards. They're completely dry, so now I'm going to take my scraper again, and I'm going to go ahead and start scraping this side of my two cutting boards, creating the same chippy effect that they're going to have on the outside. And like I said before, I use all sides of my scraper, and I especially pay attention to the edges of my cutting board, and then I take my gator sander and do the same thing and go over the whole cutting board with that side with my sander, just to give it a better worn look, and to smooth everything out and get rid of any extra paint that might be on there. Okay, it is the next morning, and I'm very sorry. I don't know what happened. I did record me putting this all together, and somehow it got erased. I just don't know what happened, so I do apologize. But I'll explain to you guys what I did was I used Rite Bond thick and quick all-purpose wood glue on all my edges, and then I went ahead, and when that was dry, I let that dry first, and then I took nails and I hammered nails along the edges of my whole box to keep the whole thing securely together. So I apologize. I wanted you guys to see me doing that, and somehow that part of my video just got erased. I don't know what happened. So what I'm showing you is that I got these spindles, but they're not long enough for the handle, unfortunately. So what I'll be using is this rustic wire, and I got this wire on Amazon, so that's what I'll be using for the handle when all is said and done. But first, what I'm going to be working on now is the fun part, and I'll be deciding what transfers I'm going to be using for my wooden caddy. So I'm going to see which ones I'll be using. Okay, so after looking at all my transfers, I go ahead and decide that I want to use a farmhouse theme on my wooden caddy. And these transfers I got from Redesign with Prima. And I'm just deciding where to start laying down my transfers. And I'll just show you some of the transfers that I'll be using. I don't use all of them. And I do stick to the black and white theme. So I'll mostly be using the black and white ones. And there's a few of them on here. And what I'm doing right now is that I go ahead and decide to use that big farmer's market one and on the one side of the front of my caddy. And I take all these transfers come with a rubbing stick to go ahead and adhere your transfer to your surface. And for this part, take your time, don't be in a rush. Make sure that you are rubbing every single inch of that transfer down, and then carefully start to lift off the plastic backing from your transfer. If you notice that as you're peeling it off, some of the transfer is still on there, no worries, just lay it back down and give it another rub and start to peel it back carefully again. Okay, so this is not hard to do at all. You just have to take your time and just be really careful about this part. And there we go. That's my first transfer down. I am loving the way that is looking so far. So I am going to go ahead now and lay the rest of my transfers down. and I will be showing you guys what the whole finished thing looks like. Okay, so I am ready to go ahead and attach the handle to my box. This wooden caddy is beautiful. I love the way that this came out. I will be showing you the whole thing once I go ahead and attach the handle. And for that, I'll be using that rustic wire that I showed you before. Once again, I got it at Amazon. I will be putting the link in the description if you want to get this wire, if you do decide to go ahead and make this caddy. So I'll be attaching this to my caddy, and I'll be showing you the entire thing once the handle is on there. Okay, so I'm just finishing up putting the handle on my caddy box. I'm just showing you I use my wire cutters to snip it there, and then I just run it through the hole on my cutting board, and I go ahead and wrap it around a couple of times just to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then I take my needle nose pliers and I just twirl the leftover wire just to give it like a nice little curly look on the inside of my box. So once that's done, I take my Aleene's acrylic sealer matte finish, and I do give this box a few coats of that sealer, but I take it outside. I don't do it indoors, and I let it dry in between coats. I give it like an hour in between each coat, and then go ahead and spray it again, and I do this 2 to 3 times. So I'm going to show you what the finished product looks like. I am absolutely in love with my box. So that's one side, and I stuck pretty much with the black and white transfers. I did give it a little bit of color with the fruit, but I wanted this to have a black and white look to it, and I put some flowers on there just to give it a little pop of color. But I absolutely love the way this box came out. By the way, I also sprayed the inside of that box with my sealer, okay? Just to make sure. I'm just going to show you the can really quick so you know what it looks like. Again, it's Aleene's acrylic sealer matte finish. And make sure you do this outside. Don't do it inside. You need ventilation for this. So, and wear a mask as well. I did wear a mask also. So thank you again for hanging out with me and making this craft, and take care, guys. Bye.